ongoing case. Police have been approached for comment. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
To this now, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry continues to question the veracity of testimony provided by controversial businessman Brown Mabotja. Mabotja is being accused of having no regard for the law after confirming he has previously lied under oath. During cross-examination this morning, Co-Commissioner Advocate Sandile Khumalo questioned Mabotja's credentials. This after he claimed he was an operative for a self-defense unit in a branch of the Umkhonto weSizwe movement.
Do you know that Umkhonto weSizwe was disbanded in 1993?
Yes, I'm aware.
So, as a 13-year-old, you would have been an Umkhonto weSizwe operative in the SDU in 1993, as a 13-year-old.
Mabotja alleges he was in fact 15 at the time, as his ID number was incorrectly captured by Home Affairs.
My ID number is incorrect from the Home Affairs. From the Home Affairs. And I grew up like that. And actually, I was born in September 1977, 22 September, not August. But the error that came from the Home Affairs, there was no way I could reverse and change it.
The DA in Gauteng is calling on the National Prosecuting Authority to press criminal charges against those accused of looting tenders at the Tembisa Hospital. The party has been picketing outside Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi's office in Joburg today, demanding the recovery of the 2 billion rand stolen from the hospital. The call comes as the Special Investigating Unit continues with its funds recovery process. The SIU has already seized over 500 million rand in assets linked to tender tycoon Hangwani Maumela. While delivering a memorandum of demands to Lesufi's office today, DA Provincial Health spokesperson Jack Bloom called for swift and decisive action.
Criminal charges against all those implicated in the looting, regardless of their high positions or political connections. The evidence for asset forfeitures should be used to criminally charge Mr. Hangwani Maumela and others instead of waiting for the SIU final report.
We shift our focus to this now. The MK party has announced its position on the G20 Leaders Summit, saying it remains opposed to the international gathering expected to sit this weekend. The party says while it understands the purpose of the event, it argues South Africa should prioritize fixing its domestic challenges. Heads of state and other delegates are expected to start arriving in Johannesburg between today and tomorrow for the global gathering. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
The MK party maintains that South Africa should shift its attention away from international engagements and instead focus on getting its house in order. It points to the unemployment crisis, failing state institutions, a stagnant economy and inequality as issues that require urgent attention. The official opposition argues the G20 summit is little more than a global showcase for photo opportunities, speeches and statements that won't translate into meaningful change for ordinary South Africans. But President Cyril Ramaphosa begs to differ.
Our G20 is rather special because it speaks to the theme that we chose: solidarity, equality and sustainability. And I do wish we had added the word inclusion, because our G20 is about inclusion.
G20 visitors are expected to begin arriving today. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
And in Vietnam, search and rescue efforts are continuing following widespread flooding, which has killed at least 16 people. Heavy rain lashed south-central Vietnam since October, with popular coastal holiday destinations severely affected. Hundreds of cars and some homes have been submerged in the water. Rescuers using boats in central Gia Lai and Dak Lak provinces have had to break through roofs to assist stranded residents. Natural disasters in Vietnam have left 279 people dead or missing and caused more than $2 billion in damage between January and October. Gold is trading at $4,069.54 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.51 to the pound, 19.53 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.76 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading through the Alex Calvin area, we still have those roadworks on the N3 affecting traffic in both directions. This is between London Road and the Butler Interchange. We still have those faulty traffic lights. That's in the Alex area. That's between London Road and the N3. Also faulty traffic lights in the Four Ways area, Winnie Mandela Drive and Four Ways Boulevard.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with afternoon thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN, Dumisani Khumalo has been reinstated as the head of the embattled Crime Intelligence Unit.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 7:02 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Thursday, the 20th of November. Looking forward to chatting to all of you. I have to say, this Brown Mokhozi thing is like, very interesting to observe. Interesting, the whole thing, very interesting. We'll stay tuned to EWN on those developing stories. Now, we're going to kick off by asking all of you, if there could be legal or financial consequences to your partner or spouse being stolen by somebody else, what would you want to do? And what would those consequences be? Not for your partner or your spouse, the other person who stole your person. And I'll share with you why. Our Belief Matters feature, we're going to talk about the spiritual implications of taking historical and sacred artifacts, especially those that hold deep cultural and religious meaning. We'll be joined by Maba Fokeng Hweni, who is a researcher at the Chief Albert Luthuli Research Chair at the University of South Africa and curator and conservator of African cultural heritage. And then the second hour of the show, Wendy Nola is coming through. We're going to chat about online shopping and how to spot good quality products online and open up the lines to all of your consumer rights issues. So get in touch with us. Give us a call. 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
There is a woman in the United States of America who successfully sued the mistress of her husband. Now, let me give context to the story, because I want to know that if somebody stole your man, if somebody stole your woman, would you take up the opportunity for them to feel legal and financial consequences for doing that? I definitely want to hear from you. So, this woman sued, and they refer to it as side chick, I'm going to say mistress, who snatched her husband. Her husband is Tim Montague, who has now divorced her and married the mistress. They're popular on TikTok. The woman in North Carolina won the lawsuit and was awarded $1.75 million. Like $1.75 million, which works out to around 30 million rand. That's a lot of money. After suing this person who she claimed broke up her marriage, the case involved a claim of alienation of affection, a civil lawsuit that allows a spouse to sue a third party who they believe caused the end of their marriage. And this type of lawsuit is only possible in a few states. And the woman was found to have interfered with the marriage, leading to its collapse. Now we know good and well that if a person wants to be stolen, they will be stolen. That part we know. We also know the person who took the vows is the spouse. The person who made promises is that partner. But let's look at this hypothetical scenario that if in South Africa it was cheap and easily accessible for us to sue people, would you take up that opportunity to sue the person who stole your mans? Would you take that opportunity up? Now, in this particular case, it was filed by Akira Montague against this other woman who's a social media influencer, Beanie Kennard. And Montague sued for this alienation of affection and criminal conversation, as in a claim of adultery. So the adultery part is also critical. After that woman had an affair with her husband, and the jury found that Kennard was liable for interfering with the marriage and awarded Montague $1.75 million in damages. And Montague argued that the affair caused her mental anguish, health damage, and the loss of a two-parent home for her children. Now, this type of lawsuit that is known as heart balm, as in BALM, tort, is a remnant of old common law that has been abolished in many of the other states, but it's still recognized in a small number of U.S. states, including North Carolina. So what are your thoughts on that? And maybe you feel that both the husband and the mistress should be paying that bill. And if you're somebody who has been cheated on, what is the monetary value you would put on the mental anguish that you endured from being cheated on? And there are many people who have said that a person who is constantly having affairs or cheating on you, that is akin to emotional abuse. So it is serious. Or are you someone who's like, nope, Relebogile, if that man wants to leave, he must go. Or if that woman wants to leave, she must go. And I'm going to move on with my life. I'm not going to be suing anybody. And remember, the judgment does not, or the verdict rather, does not necessarily even mean she'll just be getting that money like that. But now the courts can go and do something about it. I think if you're going to start life up from scratch and you were able to put a monetary value to your pain and anguish and hurt, it helps. Yeah? Now you're a single mom of two. To start off with $1.75 million, even if it's paid in bits and pieces. But share with me your thoughts. If there could be legal, financial consequences to adultery, both the third party and the person you are married to, would you take up that opportunity to do so? And what would you put for it? I mean, if, let's say, the person can't pay this 30 million rand, would you say that jail time should be an option? I want to hear from you. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
How do you push for global cooperation with so much resistance from the United States? Can we do that?
You know, we have to soldier on and soldier through. We can't give up on this thing. Now, we can't stop the G20 because one head of state decided last week that he no longer is interested in this.
Trevor Manuel?
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Good times is what life is all about. But heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux, and UTIs can put a damper on your day. With a wide range of products from Adcock Ingram OTC, you can build a survival pack to help you and your family with your gut and urinary health. Adcock Ingram OTC has you covered with products like Citrus Soda, Adco Mayo Gel, Scopex, and LP299V. Ask your pharmacist for a host of Adcock Ingram OTC solutions for your gut and urinary problems and visit beprepared365.co.za.
Dreaming of a tropical escape? World Leisure Holidays has your ticket to paradise with exclusive getaways to the Indian Ocean Islands. From the beaches of Mauritius and the Maldives to the charm of Madagascar, Seychelles, Zanzibar, and more, your dream destination awaits. Take advantage of early bird specials and pay stay offers. Call 011-285-2500 and mention 702 for a mystery discount. Or follow us on social media or contact your nearest travel professional. Start planning your escape today. T's and C's apply.
At Isuzu, we know every delivery, every kilometer, and every load is building something bigger. This truck month, set your business up for success with special deals across the Isuzu N and F-Series ranges. Don't get left behind. Speak to your Isuzu truck specialist or call 08600 Isuzu and secure your truck month deal today. Isuzu, with you for the long run. T's and C's apply.
For the first time on African soil, business leaders from across the globe are gathered for the B20 Summit in Sandton till the 20th November. On the agenda is inclusive growth and prosperity through global cooperation. Every day, the Clement Manatella Show will be in conversation with Nedbank to discuss all the news, views, and insights live from the B20 Summit. So tune in to 702 in conversation with Nedbank. Proud sponsors of the B20 Summit. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
18 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we're having a conversation around that potential opportunity if you were cheated on and your partner or spouse ends up leaving you, for there to be legal consequences and financial consequences for the person who has, in inverted commas, stolen your spouse to pay. Would you make them do it? Or do you feel like it is so not worth it, I would rather walk away? I want to hear from you, 011 883 0702, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Atini Grootboom says, I can sue a lot of people. Yo, ma'am, are you telling us that it's happened a lot of times to you, or you would involve other people? Actually, wait again, you know what I just thought about now? Hey, guys, I understand this suing a lot of people. There is a woman who was sharing a story about the fact that, like, she was dating this guy, and every time she would visit his family, they would treat her like Makoti. Meanwhile, Heritage Day, you know, when people get married, and everybody knew that you were not the woman, they must also be sued. The ones that participated in pretending, or the families that allow your mistress to come and hang out as if nothing is happening. They must also be sued. Not just the mistress. All those people that were participating and not shaming the outside person. I mean, I don't know of women, and maybe you guys can share with me, who have taken their side men to meet their family and it's okay. I've only ever myself seen it with men. And when I've seen it, I am always tempted to be like, how? Abel, introduce us. Can I get Catherine? No, it's not Catherine. I'll be like, oh, I thought you were the one who was here last week. I want to be that person. I really do. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. Nikki in Phosphorus, hi.
Hi, Lebo, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, my darling. Listen, darling, I would not sue him. You know, I caught my husband several times, my ex-husband. I caught him several times with women, right? And the one lady, she knew me, and she fell pregnant with his children. She was the cause of my divorce, because I wouldn't have divorced my husband. And remember, when I divorced my husband, didn't mean that I no longer love him. I divorced him because he made children in my marriage, you know, and I knew that at the end of the day, those kids are going to have to come to my house. And whenever I see those kids, it's going to build something inside of me, you know. But I never sued him. And guess what's the funny part now, Lebu? He never even went to her to marry her. He went to somebody else.
Ah.
And I promise you. And now she's calling me, the very one who broke my marriage. She's calling me and asking advice from me.
Ah.
I swear to God, she would ask me, Nikki, tell me, how did you cope with so-and-so? What advice can you give me? Because now he's doing things that I don't understand. I said to her, but when in your normal mind, when a woman leaves a man, what in your mind, what do you think? You think women leave men because they don't love them anymore? No, there was something that he was doing. When you were supposed to do your introspection with yourself first, do you need this? And how you got into the relationship, how you got that man, it's how you're going to lose that man.
Yeah.
And I promise you, Lebo. And guess what? That's not the end of the story.
What happened? Did he make another woman pregnant?
He did, Vele, but never mind that one. He then came back to me and said to me he wants his family back.
Ma'am, did you say yes or no, Nikki?
Lebo, you know what? I never. But
Thank
now, you
goodness.
know what?
Ma'am.
But no, listen to this. So my son has passed away, right? It's only 3 months now. So now, and the funny thing is, Lebo, he's the only one who makes me to feel better during this morning of mine. When I see him, I feel a little bit lighter, because he looks just like my son. And guess what? Now he's saying to me, I can't stay alone in the house. He's going to come stay in the house because I'm alone now in the house. He's going to come and stay there with me because I can't stay alone. I said to him, I know it's fine because I don't have anything. I can't say anything because I'm hurt, Lebo. And I said to him, no, you'll use Randy's bedroom. You can stay in that bedroom. It's okay. Where are they now? You see?
Yo, I'm so sorry for your loss, Nikki. I'm very, very, truly sorry. And it's understandable because the two of you as the parents would know what that feels like. Yes. So
it's nothing about love. No. Leave love out.
Oh.
I don't need love. My child actually is literally sleeping in his grave, Lebo, with my heart. So I don't think I would ever love anybody.
Nikki, I'm so sorry. Oh, man. What was his name?
Zandi.
And how old was Zandi?
Zandi was 27. He died in a car accident.
Oh, Zandi.
Don't Lebo. I can't deal with it. I'm just from the psychologist now, to tell you the truth. I can't deal with this. The pain is so deep. It's very deep. I don't know how am I going to do this. I don't know. Because he was my It's hard, Lebo. It's hard. It's really hard.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know. I'm going to have to learn to live without you. How? Only God knows how am I going to do it.
Nikki, do you pray?
Yes, I do. But you know what, Lebo? The way I was so angry with God, I couldn't even pray because I asked, why is he putting me through all this pain? All these years I have to go through pain. Can you not see that I'm in pain, It's only now that I'm coming a little bit down that I listen to, Pastor Desmond Dube's songs and Judith Puma because, the songs are healing me. Where I feel a bit better when I listen to those songs every day. Every day I sleep with it, I wake up with it. Because that's what I'm living for. The other day I just said to myself, I feel like killing myself and then they must bury me on top of my son. And then I had to think about the other boy. And so, but I can't do that because his brother is still alive, I have to love for him and I have to be strong for him. But
Nikki, I'm gonna ask you to do something for me. I'm gonna ask you to give yourself so much grace and kindness because this is abnormal, unnatural, and something that no parent should ever have to go through, something no mother should ever have to go through. And it's okay to be angry at God. It's okay to be angry at God and to question things because your life is never, ever going to be the same again. Ever. And I hope and pray that you are surrounded by loving people who want to support you and lift you up, even if it's just to sit with you while you drink tea without saying a word.
Yeah.
So please give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Please, every single mother I have spoken to who has lost a child, it's like there's you feel like you need to be over it, and I'm so angry. Those are valid feelings. Those are valid feelings, Nikki.
Yeah, it's hard, Lebo. I don't even have enemies, Lebo. I don't wish them to go through this. Your whole life is changed, Lebo. You know, my heart, it's like I don't have feelings. I'm living to wake up the following day. There's no feelings, Lebo. Like, there's none, because my heart is with my son.
I'm so sorry.
I feel so guilty. I feel everything, Lebo. I don't know. I don't know how am I going to do it, but I have to do it. I just don't know how.
So what I'm gonna tell you, Nikki, there was an exercise that my psychologist gave me to do when I was struggling with grief. And you don't have to do it now, but when you are ready, write letters to your son.
Yeah.
And pour out every feeling, even if the feeling is, why did you leave me now?
Yeah.
Even if the feeling is, I had so many dreams for you. Whatever those feelings are, Nikki, when you are ready, just write him letters and talk to him.
I'll do that, babe. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Please stay on the line. I just want to make sure that you are okay. I'm going to pass you back on to our producer. And I don't have words, honestly. My heart. Okay. Let me take a breath for a moment.
Your voice. Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
That call by Nikki, I'm sure many of you, wherever you are just shattered listening to that. So, let's all keep her in our prayers. Very, very heavy. I'm going to take a deep breath and use the news to gather myself. Monday in Kempton Park, I see you waiting patiently. All of your messages and voice notes that are coming through, I see them, and we're going to come to them shortly. But I guess this is what radio does, right? We get touched in ways that we don't expect to be touched in a live broadcast. And no parent should ever have to bury a child, ever. So we're going to check on Nikki, make sure she's okay and that she is safe wherever she is, and hopefully not alone, and that there is somebody who can just give her a big hug. It's 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Very good afternoon. Dumsane Khumalo has been reinstated as the head of the embattled Crime Intelligence Unit. Senior police officials have confirmed to EWN that Khumalo was reinstated this morning. The move comes after he was removed from his position in late June following his arrest. The DA in Gauteng is calling on the National Prosecuting Authority to press criminal charges against those accused of looting tenders at the Tembisa Hospital. The party has been picketing outside Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi's office in Joburg today, demanding the recovery of the 2 billion rand stolen from the hospital. The call comes as the Special Investigating Unit continues with efforts to recover the stolen funds. And Sanlam Investments says there's optimism. The Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee party could vote in favour of a repo rate cut today. The MPC is set to announce its latest decision this afternoon. Following its last meeting of the year, rates have eased by 125 basis points since September last year when the central bank started its cutting cycle. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, in the Calvin Alex area, we still have those roadworks causing delays in both directions. That's on the N3 between London and the Between to Change. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land looking pretty good. No major delays or accident scenes have been reported. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Alex area at London and the N3. Traffic lights also out of order in Sunning Hill at Rivonia and Witkoop. And if you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
10th of April 1993. Janus Valus walks up to Chris Honey's driveway and shoots 4 times. Retired High Court Judge Chris Nicholson says that story is only the cover page. In his new book, Who Really Killed Chris Hani, he argues Valush was the shooter, but not the architect.
Nelson Mandela favored him as his successor, and then there was another camp led by Thabo Mbeki, so there was keen rivalry between the two factions.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
The sale of the season is coming. Gallagher Black Friday sale is around the corner. Discover luxury styles from iconic brands like Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger, premium denims, sneakers, accessories, and more. Your in-summer of style awaits. Visit the Gallagher Black Friday sale from Thursday the 27th of November to Sunday the 30th of November at the Gallagher Convention Centre, Midrand. First to come, first to style.
For the best game viewing, you go to Mpumalanga. For the best whale watching, you go to Hermanus. And for the best in investments, go to Nedbank. Earn up to 7.6% interest with a Nedbank Just Invest account and access your funds within 24 hours. For better returns, go with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Progress builds. It moves and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa. With a 1 billion rand investment into education in our host communities, $15 million pledged to the Global Fund to support community-based health services, 1.6 billion rand in deals facilitated through our Impact Finance Network. And as a sponsor of B20 and G20, we're bringing that same spirit of partnership to a global stage, proving that when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. South Africa has a partner. Join the conversation on social media. Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
As South Africa assumes the G20 presidency in 2025, 702 and Standard Bank Group bring you exclusive conversations with the voices shaping Africa's economic future.
So the conversations have been good, and one of the key things that we've had to do is in addressing that cost of capital conversation is to really follow the principle of not just talking about our stakeholders, but talking to them as well. So engaging the credit rating agencies has been very positive, but equally, we've been calling out for the African sovereigns to do a better job in the transparency and the storytelling about bringing the visibility around a firmer understanding of the market, the economy, and all those considerations that would be key in how the market is understood and therefore the applied sovereign rating.
Brought to you by Standard Bank Group on 702. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
25 minutes to 2 o'clock. And we had an emotional past 10 minutes. We've been having a conversation around a woman who sued the mistress of the husband for stealing him and breaking their marriage and won $1.75 million. But we ended up getting a call from Nikki, who was sharing what happened in her situation with the husband who had an affair, but later in the call revealed that her son had passed on 3 months ago, 27 years old. And absolutely heartbreaking phone call. And I don't want to just move on to this discussion around whether there should be legal consequences and financial consequences to third parties that break up your marriage without truly going through some of the messages that you have all shared. Here is a voice note on 072 702 1702.
Relebogile Daniel Nixon here from Tukumsres. Yo, Relebogile. Nikki got us all in tears. All in tears. That's very sad, for a person to be going through what she's gone through. Or each and every other person that went through like losing a loved one like that and having all these problems on your shoulders is just heavy. But Nikki's family, please take care of her, give her also the support she needs. And Nikki, make sure you live for your remaining children and for yourself. Daniel Nixon here, Tukumsres.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And some messages coming through for Nikki. Relebogile, that was a hard call to take. You are a compassionate person. I always listen to you for these and other crazy reasons, but I am shaken, Releboga. That is from Sim. Oh, Nikki, you are held by all of us in the afternoons with the Relebogile family. Those of us who are moms collectively felt and carry your pain in that exact same spot. You feel it daily. Hi, Lebo, my heart goes out to Nikki. I have lost a son and I understand the pain. My unsolicited advice will be to feel the pain, but to know that it will get better. I don't know when, but the sun does shine again. I pray for God's comfort. This is from Noni. And more messages just saying my heart is so sore. Another one saying love and hugs, Nikki and Relebogile. And those messages continue. And another person saying, I'm crying with both of you as well. May the Lord's healing hand be upon the heart of this poor woman. Please give her strength. Oh, this is so heavy. Praying the lady's strength. My heart breaks for Nikki. I am feeling her pain and crying with her. Say, stay so strong, mommy. You've been through a lot. Our kids are supposed to bury us, not the other way around. Sending love and light, dear Nikki. This is from Tanya. And another one saying, big hugs, Nikki. She made us all laugh and cry. And thanks for allowing her to talk. She needed that. Well, our producer, Pashida, did speak to her off air. And she said that she's actually relieved that she got to just let it all out. And I'm sure where she is listening and hearing each and every one of your touching messages. Now back to the cheating. Oh, Monday in Kempton Park. Have you been an accessory to cheating?
Hi, Relebogile. How are you?
I'm okay, and you?
No, I was not part of that, but I just wanted to share some story. Actually, it's my cousin, and I was raised by the single woman, and he taught me how to respect a woman and how to look after a woman. So what happened after I bought a house, he decided to come and visit me with a friend. Both of them, they were married, but now they bring the side chick when they visited me. So when they came in here, we had some discussion. We went out, and when they come back and say, guys, you know what is happening here? This is the rule. Girls, they're going to sleep into my bedroom. It got a suit, and then you guys are going to sleep in another room, going to sleep in another room. And then typically I had a discussion with my brother because I was not really happy about the whole situation. So my cousin. So when he went to sleep, I locked that room, my room, because the ladies were there. So anything that can happen so that they're not going to have an opportunity. But in the morning, I called my brother, I'm going to call your wife. I don't want to be part of this thing. First of all, I heard he didn't tell me, but she's still struggling financially. The kids are struggling. We are not meeting the family ends because of this. So I don't want to be part of all those things. I don't want to be part of your kids dropping from school. I don't want to be part of the kids sleeping hungry because I've allowed this thing. So I'm going to let her know, and I'm going to let the family know about this thing.
And what did they say when you told them?
No, it was like, no, bro, I'm going to sort it out with myself. And I'm not going to sort it out. I'm going to phone your wife now. So I didn't phone the wife in She is present. I phoned the wife separately, and I explained to her that, please tell your husband that it's me who have told you this, and this is the name of the lady. I'm not sure where she's staying, but they came and visit me. I didn't want to entertain the friend's issues, but I was interested in my cousin's issue. So after that, really, it did help Relebogile, because when she was confronted and I was called, and then we had the meeting, we sit down, it did help my brother, because I've managed to stood up for my sister-in-law rather than stood up for him.
Good
And
for you,
really,
Monde. Good for you.
After that, there was some improvement, and they are still together even today. I'm not sure whether he is it or not, but I'm saying that sometimes to stand up for this kind of behavior, it can help. It can break, it can help. But we don't want to be part whereby we're going to destroy families. We're going to see children growing without both parents because I've allowed this happen. And it's so embarrassing. Imagine at some point when my sister-in-law said that I don't have a husband today because you allowed this particular person.
And you stood by and were quiet. And that's very, very rare. What you have done, but good for you, Monde, for standing up for what the right thing to do is. Thank you so much. Relebogile, interesting topic. Stealing someone's partner is so wrong. I experienced it personally, and it took me a while to recover. But when talking about those who steal other people's partners, is there nothing to be said about the stealability or snatchability of those partners? Oh, definitely. That's where I actually found peace. I let my partner go knowing that the problem wasn't me. It wasn't even the snatcher. The problem was my partner's snatchability. And the proof came when I heard that they were eventually snatched from the snatcher. So I would sue a snatcher? I don't think so, because maybe snatchers are actually there to rescue people from their snatchable partners. Thanks a million for a great show. Another one says, Relebogile, I was once a victim of a partner who cheated on me, and my in-laws knew the side chick. In my absence at my in-laws, the side would be brought to the house, and she also did not know about me and my ex. The person who hurt me the most was my mother-in-law. This was happening in her presence. I guess they were afraid of their son because he was a provider for them. I guess sometimes you think you have healed, but the pain is still there for some reason. It really hurts. Anonymous from Pretoria. Betrayal will stay and hurt like nobody's business for a long time. Chantal Rousseau on Facebook says, alienation of affection. I'm absolutely doubtful it would work in South Africa. And then final messages. Karen says, grief comes in moments. I've realized there are triggers. Just sending hugs and strength. That is from Karen. And then Anonymous in Soshanguve says, talk about flipping the script on us. Wow, Nikki. This is an indication that there are so many people affected by cheating and breaking of families. And this idea of suing the other woman is nothing but a way of venting our feelings or hurt and sometimes defeat and inadequacy. Anonymous from Soshanguve. And another one says, hi, I can't get through on the lines. Please inform Nikki that there is an organization in Joburg that provides comfort to parents who have lost children. It is called the Compassionate Friends. There is also free counseling by counselors who have lost children. She can also contact me should she want to speak to me as a counselor and as a mom who has lost a child. Oh, Seba, thank you so much. So for those of you that are grieving parents, I didn't know. Maybe we need to make some time to get them on the show. It's called the Compassionate Friends. The Compassionate Friends, where you can get free counseling from counselors who have also lost a child. And I think that's absolutely a beautiful thing to come out of this conversation. Thank you to all of you for your messages, WhatsApps, voice notes, and calls. Josie My Josie, Babi Zebonke champion James Delaney will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugs Mhlungu at 8 a.m. on Sunday.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
Hi, I'm James Delaney, an artist and activist based in Victoria Yards. For the last 12 years, I've led the campaign to restore the wilds, from an abandoned space to one of Josie's best-loved parks, with 40 acres of indigenous plants, waterfalls, and over 100 mosaics and sculptures.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
If you want a versatile SUV that's smart, efficient, and seriously advanced, meet the all-new BYD Scion 5 plug-in hybrid. It's the affordable SUV that gives electric power for your everyday trips, fuel-powered backup for your longer drives, and premium tech everywhere you look. The BYD Scion 5 is packed with cutting-edge technology, from advanced driver assist safety features to the groundbreaking DMI technology. The BYD Scion 5 makes every drive smarter. Visit www.byd.com and pre-book your test drive today. BYD, build your dreams.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Since December 2024, South Africa has proudly led the G20, guided by a powerful theme: solidarity, equality, and sustainability. From the heart of Africa, we're bringing fresh voices and bold ideas, united by a commitment to build a future where no one is left behind, where economies grow fairly, and where our planet's health guides every decision. South Africa's G20 Presidency 2025, together shaping tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Department of International Relations and Cooperation.
For the first time on African soil, business leaders from across the globe are gathered for the B20 Summit in Sandton till the 20th November. On the agenda is inclusive growth and prosperity through global cooperation. Every day, the Clement Manatela Show will be in conversation with Nedbank to discuss all the news, views, and insights live from the B20 Summit. So tune in to 702 in conversation with Nedbank, proud sponsors of the B20 Summit. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Belief matters.
Exploring culture, traditions, religion,
and the beliefs that shape our world.
11 minutes to 2 o'clock in our Belief Matters feature. We're going to chat about the spiritual implications of historical and sacred artifacts being taken or stolen. And I want to hear your thoughts and your questions and comments on 011 8830702 in the WhatsApp line, 072 702 and 702. We're joined by researcher at the Chief Albert Luthuli Research Chair at the University of South Africa, or UNISA, as well as curator and conservator of African cultural heritage, Mabotja, who is joining us. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Relebogile. It's Hoyani.
Hoyani, Hoyani. Thank you so much for that assistance with your pronunciation. Mabotja, I stumbled upon this fascinating video of this woman in the States who shared that her son stole a piece of the pyramid, a stone. And ever since then, all this bad luck has been happening, that the son died at some point, and their family has been going through all these things. And at some point, she tried to send it back to Egypt, and it was sent back to them. And I thought, oh my gosh, so many people in the comments from all over the world were like, you cannot take something from especially historic sites because you don't understand the spiritual implications of doing so. And I thought, oh my goodness, we definitely must have this conversation.
Yes.
That's very interesting because I like how it's Egypt, because now we can deal with my subject matter, right?
Yes.
Which is African sacred objects, because we must understand that artifacts are living constituents of our ancestors. They're not just mere objects, and their removal during colonialism severely had connections where our spirits are disturbed, sacred practices are disturbed, and inflicted ongoing trauma. So taking the object without knowing what the object is a disconnection, right? And a disturbance of spiritual balance, because artifacts anchor balance between the visible and the invisible world. So just taking it, it's not enough, because there's also another invisible world. You are destabilizing the equilibrium of the object. That's why it can cause such conflict within, even in a different context. Let's say, I don't know where the lady was in the States. That's why you can still have those disturbances, because the object had a specific meaning and purpose.
And I mean, a lot of people were saying to her that you can't just send it back. So the last that I watched in the series of she's been sharing of what happened, where her adult son took this and she discovered when they were home, then she had to go look for it after sharing the story on the internet. And some people were saying to her, you can't just send it back by post. You physically have to go. And she said, no, her husband and her decided they're going back to Egypt to return it. But over and above that, people were saying, you're going to have to make some kind of offering or apology. What does happen if you realize that you disturbed something that you should not have disturbed by taking a piece or stealing, and now you want to make right?
One, you have to recognize the violation that you did in the object itself, right? And recognizing that means then you have to contextualize where the object is from and try and learn more about the object. And a lot of African objects were taken during colonialism, and they're still taken to this day and taken out of their context. So once you realize what the object is, you have appropriated the object because you just took it for the aesthetic value, you have to go back and basically in terms of why did you take the object, and apologize to the communities, because once you take an object out of the its setting and origin, you are basically removing and destabilizing it. So you have to recognize the destability that you have caused, and you must be genuinely sorry about that, because objects are not about the aesthetic value, and that's what the West always fails to realize, that it might look like art aesthetically, it might look good, but a lot of African objects were not just created for the aesthetics. They were created with a spiritual meaning and to anchor communities. So you must understand the violence that you have caused.
So I have to then understand why, and maybe you can share your perspective. What have been the spiritual consequences of things being taken from our continent and stolen, if any consequences? Because it will look like there have been no consequences, but from this woman sharing, it's like absolutely everything that her and the family do is cursed, if I'm going to use that word.
Yeah, because so this is part of my PhD research, right, where I look at what are the implications, and I've identified around 7 so far, because one is the disconnection from the ancestors. You are basically taking the spiritual umbilical cord from the object. 2 is violation of sacred protocols. 3 is disturbance of spiritual balance, like I said. And 4, it's the cultural trauma and collective amnesia. Once you take an object from its originating community, you are taking a lot from the objects, because objects carry oral histories, proverbs, physical techniques that the community might need to define themselves and ground themselves, and the philosophical teaching. So the absence creates a disconnection from heritage from the younger generation, perpetuates things like colonial narratives and psychological violence. And in the South African context, I'll say it's also ethical violations of Ubuntu, because taking sacred objects violates I am because we are principle, which represents both cultural theft and spiritual violence. So continued possession is an ongoing colonial exploitation. So you're ongoing with the violence that was already perpetuated on people. So there's no way that the ancestors will not retaliate.
Sure. Are there any artifacts in South Africa that you believe are sitting overly exposed and not protected in a way that they could disturb, certain spaces and certain tribes and communities in our country?
So because of the history of our country, right, we had a law that was called the Witchcraft Suppression Act of 1957, which was a colonial law that dismissed indigenous beliefs. And because of that law, museums, police, remember people would have to go and leave their objects at their church and convert into Christianity. So the museums came to take this object, and they were encouraged by the judges, that this is backwards, this is heathenism. But what happened was these objects are still in the museum. So I move across the world trying to find and remove the sacred objects, South African sacred objects, from everyday use. Yes, there are ones that are aesthetically beautiful and are everyday use, but there are ones that are sacred, right? And currently with my PhD, I'm doing Isdraba Zengom, which you would know as the Zulu skirts, the black ones. They've been appropriated into cotton, and now you find them in different colors. They're red, they're yellow. But then a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I went to the Smithsonian, right, at the National African Art Museum, and I found this beautiful Isdraba. And Isdraba is, you only get one in your lifetime.
Sure.
Right? And people were traditionally buried with Isdraba. So it made me wonder, why is it in an art museum, and whose drama is that? Then when you go to the provenance, it's not saying who this skirt belongs to. It's just Zulu in a Zulu region. That perpetuates the violence, right? So there are a lot of objects that were personal objects that have now taken into being spiritual, and they're found across the world. And we find disturbances because our young generation will never know. So it's like a form of cultural erasure. So recently, there have been repatriation with the bones, with the Khoisan bones. There have been repatriation in the Netherlands. But the issue is the museums need to have an open dialogue in terms of what do they have in their collections, so we can start separating them, so we can understand ourselves better. Because as Africans, we've been told that we don't know how to produce, we're backwards. But then it shows, the history shows that there were laws that were there to ensure that there's a cultural erasure.
And I think, no, definitely, Mabafokeng, and I think we possibly, and I'll chat to my producer, Pashida, to see how we can have a masterclass around this, because I think there's so much information. There are certain items that you might have in your house that you're not even aware are artifacts or things that need to be prized. But thank you so much for your time.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Members of Parliament's ad hoc committee looking into allegations of police corruption want action to be taken against forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan for allegedly threatening a key witness. MPs were angered by a threatening text message to Minister Senzo Mkhulu's Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde, last night during his testimony. The message came after Nkabinde's testimony implicated O'Sullivan in alleged police interference.
I received this message from Paul O'Sullivan. I am going to make sure you spend some years in prison.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
For 3 consecutive years, Nedbank has been recognized as the best investment bank in South Africa at the Global Banking and Finance Review Awards. Whether helping clients navigate cross-border risks or building financing frameworks that support market reform, Nedbank is a partner in more than just capital. We're part of the architecture supporting Africa's renewable energy future. See money differently. Nedbank. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
The crazy store's got deals galore and everything you need. From tinsel presents, wrapping, and a star for your Christmas tree. We've got all sorts of games and sports, many toys to buy. Stationery, arts and crafts, come on and don't be shy. No need to panic shop, we're your one-stop Christmas spot. Your table will be dressed and you will not be stressed. When Christmas Eve is here, you'll want to sing and cheer. I got everything at the crazy store and I can't wait for next year.
Hey, you never know what you might find this Christmas.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Dumisani Khumalo has been reinstated as the head of the Embattled Crime Intelligence Unit. Senior police officials have confirmed to EWN that Khumalo was reinstated this morning. The move comes after he was removed from his position in late June following his arrest. Oren Singh has more.
Khumalo was arrested alongside 6 other senior crime intelligence officers and charged with fraud and corruption related to the employment of 30-year-old Dineo Mukwele. Mukwele was allegedly employed in a senior role despite her having no policing experience and without being properly vetted. It's understood that while Khumalo has returned, he is still not allowed to enter the crime intelligence offices as this forms part of his bail conditions in his ongoing case. Police have been approached for comment. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
The DA in Gauteng is calling on the National Prosecuting Authority to lay criminal charges against those accused of looting tenders at the Tembisa Hospital. The party has been picketing outside Premier Panyaza Lesufi's office in Johannesburg today, demanding the recovery of the 2 billion rand stolen from the hospital. The call comes as the Special Investigating Unit continues with efforts to recover the stolen funds. The SIU has already seized over 500 million rand in assets linked to tender tycoon Hangwani Maumela. While delivering a memorandum of demands to Lesufi's office today, DA Provincial Health spokesperson Jack Bloom called for swift, decisive action.
Criminal charges against all those implicated in the looting, regardless of their high positions or political connections. The evidence for asset forfeitures should be used to criminally charge Mr. Hangwani Maumela and others instead of waiting for the SIU final report.
Sanlam Investments says there's optimism that the Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee could vote in favour of a repo rate cut today. The MPC is set to announce its latest decision this afternoon following its last meeting of the year. Rates have eased by 125 basis points since September last year when the central bank started its cutting cycle. The repo rate currently sits at 7% while prime lending sits at 10.5%. Chief economist at Sanlam Investments, Arthur Kamp, says the market has priced in a high probability of a 25 basis point cut.
There are a number of factors supporting this view. Generally, inflation outcomes have surprised on the low side this year. The rand has been relatively stable of late, and although real GDP growth appears to be on an improving trend, it is still subdued. Further, the US Federal Reserve is expected to cut its policy interest rate further.
But he says the MPC could still wait until next year to cut the benchmark policy rate.
The reason why one would pause for thought is the new inflation target, which is 3% with a tolerance band of 1%. However, the focal point of the new target is 3%, and inflation has been drifting higher. It is possible the Reserve Bank may just decide to wait to ensure that the inflation pickup is temporary.
The Transport Department is urging e-hailing drivers to convert their charter permits into operating licenses before the 180-day deadline expires. Drivers have until March next year to secure their e-hailing licenses through the National Transport Regulator. The move forms part of government's efforts to regulate the e-hailing sector. There are, however, concerns that many drivers have not come forward to complete the permit to license conversion. Transport Department spokesperson spokesperson Colin Msibi warns that failing to obtain the required license could have serious consequences for drivers.
Without a registered app, no operator will be able to convert e-hailing operating license or apply for a new operating license. This means after 180 days, those who have not converted will automatically become illegal operators.
And a court in Spain has ordered Facebook owner Meta to pay local media outlets 479 million euros in compensation for unfair competition. The Madrid Commercial Court ruled that Meta gained a significant competitive advantage by running ads on its social media platforms. According to the ruling, this is in violation of EU data protection rules. Spanish radio and television stations have also launched a separate lawsuit against Meta for the same reasons, seeking 160 million euros in damages. A similar lawsuit has also emerged in France, where around 200 media groups, including major television networks as well as leading newspapers, filed legal action against Meta in April. Gold is trading at $4,069.54 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.43 to the pound, 19.87 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.76 a barrel.
In Devland, heading towards Eldorado Park, we still have those roadworks causing some delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. In the Calvin Alex area, also roadworks causing some delays. N3 in both directions between London Road and the Butlu interchange.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with thunder showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN, Dumsani Khumalo, has been reinstated as the head of the embattled Crime Intelligence Unit.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. And we are going to be jumping into what we do on a Wednesday, which is a chat to Winda Nola in our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows. But before, I want to share with you, this just came off of the president's official X account. I have not seen it yet on the news, but this came from the verified account at Cyril Ramaphosa. And it reads as follows: here in South Africa, we have declared gender-based violence and femicide a national crisis. We have agreed among all social partners that we need to take extraordinary and concerted action using every means at our disposal to end this crisis. Now, a part of me is like, yes, finally he is addressing. But the real question is going to be, what is the difference between a national crisis and a national disaster? Is it a matter of language? But I look forward to hearing more as this gets unpacked. But I had to just mention this because tomorrow is the day of the national shutdown. The purple profile pictures are not just a trend. It is a movement and a call to everybody for us to stand together. We cannot continue like this, where we have women and children being murdered and killed the way that they have been, at the rates that they have been, at the alarming rates that we are experiencing here in South Africa. Wendy Nola will be joining us. 011-883-0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Nolan knows.
Time for Wendy Nolan, our consumer rights feature. Nolan knows. Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm great, Relebogile. Lovely to be with you.
Thank
and
you.
we'll be talking about a subject which I didn't know all that much about, as it turned out, but now I do, and I want to empower our listeners to make the wise shopping choices as well.
Yes, especially with the Black Friday excitement. There are going to be lots of newbies and those that you might not know cropping up, and we'll be able to check and see what quality goods or what goods have actually decent quality before you go ahead and order online.
Yeah, so as you said, we've got the big shopping fest coming up. According to the Online Retail in South Africa 2025 report by Worldwide Works, the country's online retail market is projected to exceed 130 billion rand by the end of the year, representing 10% of total sales. So it's still quite small, but some of us are those of us that are in the 10% are doing a lot of purchases online. So the Black Friday Index 2024 by Eccentric Payment Systems and Worldwide Works found out that the 4-day period from Black Friday to Cyber Monday accounted for 10.3% of total holiday transactions, which was up from 7.9% the previous year, 2023. This morning, I saw courier company Fastway issuing a statement saying that its own parcel volumes have already increased by more than 33%, a third year on year between August and October this year, signaling that 2025 is on track to be the company's busiest festive season yet. So a lot of people struggling, but these online sales are creeping up every year. So I think it's fair to say that a lot of us are stepping up our shopping, particularly online, big time right now. And we've chatted really in this segment over the years about how to be a clued up online shopper, from spotting the websites which have been cloned by fraudsters, checking out the returns policies to see that they comply with the CPA. In other words, they can't say anything you buy on sale is you can't send back. Be aware of that. Because everything's going to be on sale on Black Friday, right? Doesn't mean that you can't return something within 7 days as part of the the Electronic Transactions and Communications Act, or ECTA, and we've also spoken about more recently. You don't have to pay extra for insurance when you buy online, that your package is going to go, if it doesn't arrive or the product arrives damaged, you're on your own unless you paid for insurance. No, the Consumer Protection Act says that it's their responsibility, the sender and the courier's responsibility, until it lands up in your hands, right? We've spoken about all those things a lot. I just wanted to quickly repeat them. But we've never delved much into how you can tell from a product's listing whether it's high quality or not. So today is going to be a bit of a tutorial on that. Get ready to take notes. I certainly did. For me, the absence of detail in a listing is always a red flag. But in cases where there is a fairly wordy product description, I can't say that I've always fully grasped the significance of those technical descriptions. And they're particularly important when you're buying online, because you can't feel the towel to see how plush it is, right? And you can't pick up that backpack and feel how padded the shoulder straps are and all the rest. So we rely very heavily on the description. So about 3 weeks ago, I attended a press conference that was hosted by a local retail site, One Day Only. That's been going for 15 and a half years already. And one of the aspect of that press conference that got my attention properly was when they spoke about, they often ask for samples of products, be it cutlery or whatever, and they interrogate the quality and make sure that the description and the photos, sometimes they use their own in-house studio to take really detailed photographs for their customers. They make sure that all of that syncs. And I got hold of them after and said, I need you to give us the lowdown on some of these descriptions and how we, what we should be looking for if we want good quality. If you don't want great quality, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're having a party and you want gold cutlery and it doesn't need to last much beyond the party, then that's fine. You shouldn't pay extra, for that. But if you're looking specifically for good quality, and in terms of it not breaking, or becoming defective in some way, then this show is for you, right? So just a quick background. First of all, I want to say this isn't sponsored. This by One Day Only. This advice applies to all online shopping or whatever your chosen site is. Knowledge is power. I just thought I would pick One Day Only's brains since I saw them going through that advice session in their press conference. One Day Only has been going for 15 and a half years, since April 2010, when they sold 4 sales in that first month. They had 4 sales in that month. Now they're loading 300 deals every midnight, and many of those items sell out before lunchtime, and they have significant discounts. Right, so I hope we have Lorian Fenter on the line. She's a director at One Day Only, and she's going to spill now on what we need to know.
Yes, we do.
Obviously not on all product. I'm with you.
Hey, Lorian, how are you doing? Right. Welcome to the show.
Hi. It's great to be with both of you.
Thank you.
Right. So won't you just talk us a little bit about why you did that exercise, why it's important for your listings to be as full as possible, as detailed as possible, and also for the photographs. I mean, I would imagine sometimes that is the weak point. You sort of zooming in and trying to see as much detail, and often you can't, because things like stitching and other detail is really important. When did your team start going down that rabbit hole of trying to jam as much information into your listings as possible?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Wendy. I think one of the really big defining things that makes us different from a lot of our competitors is that we aren't a marketplace. We are a curated deal site. And the difference between the two of those is that a marketplace is where absolutely anyone can just list a deal, get it up there, and they can say what they want, they can do what they want, and you're not actually seeing the product as a retailer. With One Day Only, we choose and select every deal, we negotiate every deal, we work hard on every single deal, and we don't list everything we get sent through. We're very, very specific about what we list. And I think a couple of years ago, we were really seeing a lot of... sorry about that.
No, go ahead. You were answering my question, actually. When did you start going heavy with detail?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I think we started getting quite a lot of returns. We started seeing that we had products that we were getting a lot of returns on, and we say that our customers are North Star metric. And if customers are disappointed, if what they're getting is not what they were expecting, then that's really not our intention at all. So we realized that some people will want a $199 cutlery set just for that dinner party, and some people will want a 1,000 Rand or a 3,000 Rand cutlery set for to have in their home for many, many years, which is fun, and that market is out there. But what we want to do is to be able to represent what we're selling is what people will actually get, so that we don't get returns, so that we get customers coming back again and again and again.
Okay, so let's start with, we've got a few categories. I don't know how many we're going to get through, but let's start with talking. You mentioned cutlery, and that was one of the examples in the press conference that got my attention. And I had not realized what those numbers that you see in the listings mean. And you can get an idea when you're holding cutlery, because the weight is a bit of an indicator of how long it's likely to last with you. But please explain to us those numbers that start with 18 and what those grades mean? Because I found this fascinating.
Yeah, so the quality of cutlery is really determined by the stainless steel grade, and the grades are written as numbers, and you'll see the 1810 or 188 or 180, and that first number indicates chromium, the 18 number, which prevents rust, and the second number indicates nickel, which adds shine and it improves corrosion resistance. So if it's an 180, it doesn't have the nickel, and then the higher the second number is, the 188 or the 1810, the better the quality is. So it will add more shine and it will improve your corrosion resistance. So the 1810 is the highest quality and it's used in premium hospitality items. The 188 is durable, it's ideal for everyday use, and the 180 contains no nickel and it might tarnish over time. Again, that's not so much of a problem. It just means, for example, if you put it in the dishwasher, that you need to wipe it off quickly afterwards. Or some items might not be dishwasher safe at all, so you've got to hand wash those. And again, it just depends on what purpose you're wanting it for, etc. But I think the other thing is that weight really does signify quality. If it's heavy, it's going to last longer. It's not going to bend easily. It feels better in your hands. Very often, your very expensive cutlery is weighted differently, so it feels very good. It balances really well. So if a listing is not clear on those items, it's very, very difficult to know whether you're going to get something cheap and flimsy or if you're going to get something, solid and secure that you're going to keep forever.
Lorian and Wendy, I'm going to ask you both to hold those thoughts before we pick up. We need to take a break and then we will continue.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
Hi, I'm James Delaney, an artist and activist based in Victoria Yards. For the last 12 years, I've led the campaign to restore the wilds, from an abandoned space to one of Josie's best-loved parks, with 40 acres of indigenous plants, waterfalls, and over 100 mosaics and sculptures.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie, Babize Bonke champion James Delaney will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugs Mhlungu at 8 a.m. on Sunday.
As leaders in renewable energy finance, Nedbank has a track record spanning over 100 years. From pioneering large-scale solar and wind farms to financing complex energy infrastructure in emerging markets, Nedbank offers clients deep sector expertise, combined with the ability to navigate the unique challenges of Africa's just energy transition. See money differently. Nedbank. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
South Africa is taking its place on the world stage at the B20 and G20 Summits 2025. Telkom is proud to stand with the nation, building a digital future that reaches every community. Through reliable fiber, mobile and cloud networks, Telkom is connecting families, small businesses and young people to new opportunities. They're helping drive digital public infrastructure so services are easier to access for all. Telkom, the digital backbone of South Africa's future.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
In case you missed it, 702 was in conversation with Santam about Santam's partnership with the G20 taking place in Johannesburg.
We've got an opportunity because Africa has got the youngest population, and that there needs to be focused in terms of harnessing this critical skill. But Africa is also prone and vulnerable to natural disasters. So what we've done, for instance, as Santam, is use the same template of a program like P4R to actually expand some of the programs to countries like Namibia.
Santam is the proud sponsor of the G20 Summit. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer, and the controlling company for its group of companies.
702.
Nola knows.
25 minutes after 2 o'clock, we are chatting in our consumer rights feature with Wendy Nola, just around knowing if something you're trying to buy online, if that product is good quality or not. Sometimes you only just have a little photo and a tiny description. But we're not just joined by Wendy, we also are chatting with director at One Day Only, Lorian Fenter, 011-883-0702, and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Wendy, in these 4 minutes before we go to the news, go ahead.
Okay. Lorian, let's move on to outdoor umbrellas. We have Christmas and summer, so they're quite I would imagine, a sought after item, but they can do a lot of damage and end up looking really awful if we don't go for good quality here. What are the things? I was fascinated by this. There are 2 or 3 elements that we need to look for if we want something that's going to be strong and last a while. Could you talk us through those elements, please?
For sure. Yeah, outdoor umbrellas really do vary in sturdiness based on their frame material, their ribs, and their fabric. And it is super, super, super important that we know what we are getting there. I know in Cape Town we've got massive winds, so that's a really big and important one. But in Joburg, you know, the sun shines wildly, and so you need to make sure that it's going to have some longevity. And I think you can get aluminium or powder-coated steel frames, which are really great, and they're much stronger than plastic. You've also got wooden frames. And I think what's really important is you've got to make sure that your umbrella is fit for purpose. If you're going to have it somewhere that you are near the coast, obviously you're going to need something that's going to be corrosion resistant. Whereas if you just want something that looks pretty and you're happy to replace it in a little while, you can get a nice wooden frame. But I think the other thing that's really important is the ribs that support the canopy. The more ribs, the stronger the umbrella. And premium umbrellas, this is a good number to know. Premium umbrellas generally have 8 ribs, which is much better than your cheaper products, which have got 4 to 6 ribs. So that's really, really important to look at. And then the last point is the fabric. It really matters. Yeah, outdoor fabrics should be UV resistant, and they should be 180 grams per square meter or higher. Otherwise, it'll fade really quickly. And then just the last point is the base weight.
Yes. So if we see, I really found the rib thing fascinating. I would never buy another outdoor umbrella that doesn't have 8 ribs. But in terms of the fabric, we should be, if we don't see specifications in terms of the number of ribs and the grams per square meter, that 180 number, if it's not there, I think it's safe to say we should probably assume that it's not great quality, because if it is, the manufacturer is going to make sure they put that in the description, right? So we need to look for these numbers in an item that's as critical as an outdoor umbrella, where lots of things can go wrong. Am I right?
Absolutely. I think that's the thing, is to make sure that you're looking for it. If you don't see it, either it means that they are putting as little detail as possible. On some websites they do that because it is not a great quality item, and then rather leave the information out. But otherwise, you can always just send a message to customer service just to say, hey, can I just clarify what are the ribs or what is the GSM, etc., and they can always get back to you with more information.
Okay, so that's so critical. Thank you for saying that. You can be proactive and ask the questions, because and the thing is that we're trying to do today is know what questions to ask. So I wouldn't have known before, your press conference, umbrellas should have at least 8 ribs to be really strong, and this is the technical spec on the fabric. So I hope our listeners are taking notes. Those are the questions to ask if there's very little detail on an outdoor umbrella. Now you know, fins, GSM, get clued up, and then you can make an informed choice.
The fact that we're talking ribs and it's not to do with something we're eating is what is killing me about this consumer rights feature for today. But when we do come back, there is a little bit of an update for you, Wendinola, from one of our listeners on a story that they had shared with us. So we continue with the consumer rights feature, 011 883 0702, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702, and we come back. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon. What has the president been saying?
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa has taken several jabs at the United States government today, saying nations of the world should be viewed as equals and not be bullied by one another. This comes as the USA boycotts the South African Leaders Summit, warning government not to attempt to adopt a consensus declaration this weekend that does not include the position of the US. Despite evidence showing his interference in high-level policing matters, controversial businessman Brown Mokgotsi disputes he ever meddled in police affairs. Mokgotsi has been undergoing cross-examination at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today. Chief Evidence Leader Advocate Matthew Charleskinson has poked holes in Mokgotsi's testimony, likening it to hearsay rather than evidence. And Sanlam Investments says there's optimism that the Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee could vote in favour of a repo rate cut today. The MPC is set to announce its latest decision this afternoon following its last meeting of the year. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour in the Kempton Park area, the R21 southbound is closed off to traffic. That's between Voortrekker and Atlas Road. This is due to the G20 summit taking place this weekend. There's also roadworks causing delays. This is in the Calvin area on the N3 northbound between London Road and the Butler Interchange. Otherwise, the rest of Gauteng not looking too bad. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights in four ways at Winnie Mandela Drive and Four Ways Boulevard, as well as in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Part of the 702 family.
From the undeniable chemistry of Bongani and Adam on The World View, to hanging out with Clement, to sports and good things too with Mandy and Brent, discussing the upside of failure with Relebogile Mabotja, to a song, a book and a dish with John. Who can forget Stephen navigating us through personal finance? 702 has everything for everyone. It's informative, it's witty, it's real. Let's walk the talk. Balisa in Waterfall.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
If you want a versatile SUV that's smart, efficient, and seriously advanced, meet the all-new BYD Salions 5 plug-in hybrid. It's the affordable SUV that gives electric power for your everyday trips, fuel-powered backup for your longer drives, and premium tech everywhere you look. The BYD Salion 5 is packed with cutting-edge technology, from advanced driver assist safety features to the groundbreaking DMI technology. The BYD Salion 5 makes every drive smarter. Visit www.byd.com and pre-book your test drive today. BYD, build your dreams.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actors-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Be in the right place at the right time with Betway's jackpot slots. Stand to win your share of millions of rands in cash every week. Bet on selected slots every Thursday and Friday night between 7 and 10 p.m. and you could be our next big winner. The more you play, the more chances to win. Get way more only at Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. NRGP counseling line 0800 006 008. All events are fixed odds betting games.
702 was in conversation with Nedbank, discussing all the insights, opinions, and expectations of the B20 summit.
This presidency of the G20 was in a very deliberate way, used to amplify the African voice and manage to reposition Africa from being just a price taker, wish, or an implementer of international standards that are determined elsewhere, but to start being a co-creator, to start being a participant in decision-making when it comes to how we deal with global economic governance, how we reform the global financial systems and its institutions.
To hear the full lowdown, visit primemediaplus.com. Brought to you by Nedbank, proud sponsors of the B20 Summit on 702. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. John, how are you doing?
Doing well, thanks. Good afternoon to you. Hope you're well, and good afternoon to the listeners.
What is coming up on your show today?
So we're listening out very, very closely. The Monetary Policy Committee, do we get a rate cut or not? Stephen Pruitt is keeping an eye on that, and he'll jump in as soon as he has the very latest, not just the number, but Stephen, of course, excellent at explaining not just what was decided, but why and the implications. That's probably going to be around 3:15, possibly a little bit earlier than that. We are going to be going to the B20 Summit. Moteo Huaripe is out there. He's going to be chatting to Standard Bank Chief Economist Gulam Balim. That's at 10 to 5. Brown Mokhotsi, if you look up at your TV screens, I found myself absolutely glued this morning.
Was your flabbergasted?
No, it was it was different today. But thank you. I'll use that expression sometime. Borrow it if you don't mind. No, today was very, very different because, obviously the dramatic nature of his claims was very much day one, possibly day 1.5. But today it is the minutiae of what he's claiming and the extent to which, for example, his WhatsApp exchanges with the police minister and other people either bears out what he's saying or doesn't. So, yeah, it's intriguing stuff. Oren Singh is, I'm sure, glued to the screen, and he's going to join us with an update on that at around 10 minutes past 5. Very interesting thing happening with the head of the Navy, making criticisms about the underfunding of the Navy. The defense minister pushed back and said this is wrong, he shouldn't have said it, it's not accurate and it wasn't the place. Other people have jumped to his defense. It's not quite on the scale or anywhere near the scale of Lieutenant General Mkwanazi, but it is another version of somebody within the system standing up, using a platform that they have and saying, listen, things are not right here. And we're going to have a conversation about that with Piki Krief from the South African National Defence Union. It's an important topic. I'm looking forward to exploring it.
702 Drive with John Perlman, coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
Nola knows.
22 minutes to 3 o'clock, we continue with our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows, with Wendy Nola. And we have been having conversations around spotting good quality products online. We also have with us directed one day only Lorian Fenter, 011 8830702 in the WhatsApp line, 072 702 1702. There is a message that I'm so excited to read to Wendy. But Wendy, while we still have Lorian and before we open up the lines.
I thought I'm also interested to know what you're going to read out. And I thought while we've got Lorian, let's do maybe quickly 2 more categories and then we can leave some time for our listeners to ask general questions. Lorian, thanks for staying with us. Could you tell us about towels? How we know whether a towel is super plush or not? What are the numbers we need to know about there?
Apologies, Lauren, please start again.
No worries.
Yes.
Towel quality is determined by GSM, which is your grams per square meter, and by your fiber composition. So the GSM refers to your fabric density, and a higher GSM means a thicker, softer, and more absorbent towel. Towels between 500 and 650 GSM are plush and luxurious, and towels below 450 GSM are thinner and dry faster. They might feel a little bit less premium. And again, it's really important to know what you want as a customer. If you're wanting something that's beautiful and luxurious and fluffy and warm, that's amazing. Then you go for the higher GSM. But if you're looking for something that's quick drying, or maybe something that's a bit cheaper that you're not wanting to break your budget on, then you can go for a lower GSM. And then the other thing that's important is that cotton remains the gold standard because it's naturally absorbent. So you can get some towels with polyester or microfiber in them. Personally, I don't like it at all, but some people don't mind it, and the colors stay for longer, etc. But I'm a cotton girl. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And then
okay.
And then you've also got
to get your size.
Yeah, you've also got your sizing. It really does matter what size you get. A bath sheet is significantly larger than a bath towel. It provides much more coverage. It's, again, very luxurious, but it's going to take a lot longer to wash and to dry. It's going to use up all your electricity, etc. So, again, it really is important for you to know what are your priorities when you're buying them so that you can know what to get.
Excellent. And then I learned something about those travel mugs. I always would just take double wall as being, what we're looking for, but I was missing a trick here. Please won't you share with us the magic word that we must look for if we really want these products to retain the heat or the cold?
Yeah, the magic word is double-walled vacuum insulation. It's all very well. There's plenty of people who've got double walls, but you won't have the vacuum in it because it will mean that your cold stays cold and your warm stays hot. And, that relates to these sort of giant mugs that we all walk around with drinking our water, or it relates to vacuum flasks, etc. And the vacuum will retain your temperature for hours. The other thing that's really important is that the interior must be made of an 18/8. Again, that's your stainless steel nickel composition, food grade stainless steel, and that's really, really important. And the lid should be BPA free and leak proof. So those are just some really important notes to take when you are buying a travel mug or a drinking item.
Okay, brilliant. Well, you certainly filled a very big vacuum in my technical knowledge on some of these products, all of these products. Thanks so much for your time, Lauren. Really appreciate it.
Wonderful to be with you.
Thank you so much, Lauren Fenter, Director at One Day Only. So that is such great information, Wendy. Now we know how to pay attention to those details. It's almost like knowing that 1,000 thread count Egyptian cotton is whatever the case may be. And if you guys missed it, you can listen over. But I'm sure even now you're able to just put that info into your whatever AI you're using and do a comparison to see which quality might be better. But I like to follow your rule, Wendy. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So let me read this.
And also...
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, if there's too little information, you must know why. If it's really good quality, the manufacturers will jam all that technical information in there for you. But yeah, what you got?
So firstly, and it's a pity we let go of Lauren already, but a message that says, Relebogile and Wendy, I'm a big fan of One Day Only. Have been a customer for over 10 years. I once ordered this fly trap machine from them, which was hideous and non-functional. I inquired about a return and their reply was that I could keep it and they gave me a full refund. Great service. That is from Robert in Houghton Estate. So I hope Lauren gets that message. And then the feedback for you, Wendy. Relebogile, I just wanted to give you and Wendy an update about the washing machine issue from 2 weeks ago. I have managed to get the CEO's email address and they've sent someone out to my house to come and check the washing machine. So if you recall, the washing machine situation was that she was told when she bought it and then started the cycle and then it wasn't working, And they said, but you can't return it because you've used it. And she's like, but how would I know it's not working?
That ridiculous case.
Yes, if I didn't use it. And then she says, they have realized, so they sent someone else to the house to come and check the machine. They've realized that there's definitely something wrong with the machine. They've processed my refund yesterday. Please warn people to rather go big appliances at a store because I've found that you can't purchase an extended warranty online. And they go on to say, lesson learned.
Oh.
So positive feedback there, Wendy.
Exactly. That's lovely. I just want to say what happened there was a customer service agent, it happens so often, is not understanding the difference between a change of heart return, where you've got to return something that you've bought online in its packaging and everything. You can't have used it because they obviously have the right to resell it, right, after they've refunded you, versus, and you have 7 days to send that back, versus a defect where you have 6 months to send it back for your choice of a refund, replacement, or repair. And often the customer service agent at the coalface will say, no, but you've used it, so you can't send it back, because they're not understanding the distinction between within a week you can send it back for whatever reason, but you can't have used it because then it's used, and you only then have the right to send it back if you've used it, if it's defective. And obviously you're not getting full value from your purchase. And it's because of that misunderstanding that we get these ridiculous cases where people are told something that makes no sense.
My goodness, thank you so much for that one. Lawrence, you've been waiting so patiently. We're going to come to you in a moment. We've got another break.
As leaders in renewable energy finance, Nedbank has a track record spanning over 100 years. From pioneering large-scale solar and wind farms to financing complex energy infrastructure in emerging markets, Nedbank offers clients deep sector expertise, combined with the ability to navigate the unique challenges of Africa's just energy transition. See money differently. Nedbank. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
Experience a unique musical journey as the Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra presents its national tour, Voices of Home, featuring legendary conductor Maureen Alsop and homegrown global sensation Abel Silakwe. The program includes Silakwe's Four Spirits Cello Concerto, paired with Rachmaninoff's Romantic Symphony No. 2. Concerts take place at the Linda Auditorium on Wednesday the 10th and Thursday the 11th of December. Book your tickets now at Quicket.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa. With a 1 billion rand investment into education in our host communities, $15 million pledged to the Global Fund to support community-based health services, 1.6 billion rand in deals facilitated through our Impact Finance Network. And as a sponsor of B20 and G20, we're bringing that same spirit of partnership to a global stage, proving that when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. South Africa has a partner. Join the conversation on social media. Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
You know what success looks like. Now discover why focus is the driving force behind every success story. Catch 702 in conversation with Momentum on The Money Show with Stephen Krutters every Thursday, discussing the science of success. Step into the mindset of top financial achievers and discover how your thinking, behavior, and focus can shape lasting financial success. That's 702 in conversation with Momentum. Thursdays on The Money Show with Stephen Krutters. Momentum, your journey to success on 702. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
702.
Nola knows.
12 minutes to 3 o'clock. The lines are open in our consumer rights feature. Nola knows. Audible 1 8830702 in the WhatsApp line 0727021702. Lawrence, go ahead. Hi, Lawrence from Davidson.
Hi, Relebogile. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for the good show. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hi, Relebogile. With regards to the no exchange or no refund,
yes.
I bought a sneaker which was on special, and then I wanted to exchange the size because the size was a bit small. And then when I went to the store, they told me that they don't exchange because I bought it online. So what they did, initially when we bought the sneakers, we didn't see that bold letters that they put there, no exchange, no refund. But now when you go to their website, it's there, it's written in bold. That no exchange, no refund. So I had to pay 500 extra for me to get the size that I wanted on the stuff that I thought I bought on special. So I just wanted to find from Wendy. So what is the
legal position?
Exactly.
You
know?
Yeah, and that's a good one to know about, because that to me sounds so straightforward to just swap it out for a different size, assuming there's no like wear and tear.
Yeah, exactly. Lawrence, thank you so much for the question, because I think a lot of people get shortchanged in this situation. So in your case, it was a change of heart. There was nothing wrong with the sneakers. So you just wanted another size, and you were totally legally entitled to that. Obviously, when you buy something online, you've got to pay first and then find out whether it fits you or whether it's what you thought it was from that picture or whatever. And that's why in countries all over the world, there is a cooling off period, what's called a cooling off period, when you buy something online. In South Africa's case, it's governed by the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act, or ECTA, and it gives you the right to return a product within 7 days of its delivery for a full refund. The retailer has up to 30 days to refund you, but they must refund you. But obviously, they have the right not to lose the sale. In other words, the product must be in a resaleable condition, which obviously yours would have been. You tried them on, they didn't fit. So you can't wear the shoes for a week and then just say, I don't want them, because now they're worn. But once, you obviously get to try on, touch, feel, whatever, and then say, I'm exercising my right to that cooling off period. They don't fit. It's much easier with online just to say, could you just refund me? Sometimes with an exchange, you will then still have to pay for the courier, right? Because it's your choice, and the Act does say they must refund you, but you are liable. They can make the customer pay to send it both ways, send it back and then pay again for courier to get them back to you. I once bought, recently, the last few weeks, I bought a pair of sneakers from a company online. They also have a physical presence, and they were too big. So I said, I'm happy to pay to courier them back. And they said, no, if you wanted a refund, we would subtract the courier. But if you just want another size, there's no courier cost, which I thought was really fair. And that's what I did, and it worked out beautifully. But they can't tell you there's no refunds, no return if you buy it online. Absolutely not. You have that 7-day cooling off period as long as you send them back in the same condition in which they were delivered to you. I hope I've made that clear for everybody.
No, you did. And I didn't even wear them. Well, I fitted them to see if it fits, and it was just a day after I've received them. And Wendy, I also bought some other items where the stuff were too big or too small. I went to that other store. They managed to exchange me. They gave me the correct size. But it was only this store when they said no refund, no exchange, nothing. So I really felt
that's not that's illegal.
That's not correct.
Lawrence,
yeah,
please email me. I'd like to challenge that company, and in the public interest. So if you can, just send me as much info as you can. Thank you so much.
Lawrence, stay on the line so that our producer can have a conversation with you there around that, so that can be addressed. I just think, Wendy, it's also good to know that in situations like that, with regards to the cooling off period, it's good to know there's a person on the WhatsApp line who says, what happens to Temu? So I'm assuming as in they are asking if there is an issue with a Temu. What happens there?
They have a return function on their app. So again, you've got to specify. Let's talk about the cooling off period. In other words, it's not defective. It's just not what you want. So you go on there. They make it quite easy, to be fair. They ask you to upload 3 photographs or 1 video explaining what the issue is. Once they've got, they send a courier. They don't charge you for that. Once they've got it back, they will issue a credit. If it's the first time you're sending something back, they will immediately issue you the credit before they've got the product back. But here's the thing. The credit, say it's 500 Rand, the item that you paid 500 Rand for it. The next time you buy, you don't get a neat 500 Rand off. They'll tell you this is the total and it includes credits. And if you query it, they'll say, oh, no, they applied that 500 Rand and little bits here and there on each item, which is not compliant with our law here in South Africa. You're entitled to that whole amount as a refund. If you want to have a credit, that's fine. But yeah, and that's it's not what ECTA, the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act, entitles us to in South Africa. Thank you for the question.
Yes. All right, let's quickly go to Angelo in Joburg. Hi, Angelo. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I hope you both are well. I have a question, please. I'm a regular customer of a giant retailer, and I bought a screen protector from them. I then went back for my new phone, and they didn't have the item in stock, and so I saw the name of the retailer that supplies this big retailer, and I went directly to their website and ordered the item. Now, this big retailer's own retailer is not fulfilling my order for 8 weeks, and I'm trying to go via the big retailer, and they're telling me they can't help me. I really want to know if they should be helping me, or Wendy, what is my next steps? Like, they are not answering my phone calls, my emails, my WhatsApps. I actually don't know how to reach this other company now. Is there something I could do?
Okay.
And does this big retailer have a duty to help me or not?
Sure.
Okay. I think I understand. The terminology is a bit confusing. So let's talk about the retailer versus their supplier. So you went directly to the supplier because the retailer didn't have the phone you wanted, and they're not coming to the party, and now you want the retailer to help you. They don't. It would be nice if they did, but they don't. They're not part. They
are not part of the transaction
you have with the supplier.
Yeah.
No, they're completely separate from it, so they don't have to take responsibility for it. And that's one of the advantages of going through a retailer, is that they must take responsibility for it, and at least you have someone hopefully in your corner that can do that schlep work for you. So it's not the greatest answer for you, Angelo, but that's the situation. You're going to have to keep on going to the supplier. You have a right to what you paid for, and so you could come to myself, you could go to the Consumer Goods and Services Ombudsman. There's a number of things you could do, but you're obviously not going to accept not getting anything for your money. If you paid by credit card, you could go to your bank and lodge a chargeback dispute, where your bank goes to their bank and says, look, our guy didn't get the goods, and then you get your money back that way. So you do have some options.
So sorry about that, Angelo, and I do hope that you get sorted, but stay on the line if you need to get in touch with Wendy for our producer. Wendy, back together next week.
At Chamberlain's, there's something for everyone. From building supplies for the home renovators to garden essentials for the homemakers. From power tools for the DIY doers to painting supplies for the patio Picassos. We even have coffee for the slightly sleepy and snacks for the young ones. And for the ones who can never quite find what they're looking for, we have you covered too. With our promise to find and source whatever you need. Chamberlain's, famous for hardware since 1903.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Those trusty old shoes. They're for your first move out of home. That marathon training that lasted a day. The quick runs to the store. The long nights out. Yeah, they've done the most for you. But with the Street Store, they can do even more for someone else. Visit thestreetstore.org to find out more about donating your pre-loved shoes and clothes to the world's first rent-free pop-up clothing store for the homeless. Donate before December 6, 2025.
Standard Bank and 702 have joined forces to bring you China Unlocked.
So obviously, rooibos is very unique to South Africa, that only grows in South Africa. So it's a real South African treasure that we can share with the rest of the world. And obviously, it's a very different tea to the teas that the Chinese are used to. What's interesting now is that the Chinese consumers has given rooibos their own name, and they call it Bosha Cha, which means basically the doctor's tea, which we are very happy with because it's so full of health properties. So that definitely helps the sale and, the trust in the product.
Don't miss China Unlocked on 702 Drive with John Perlman. Tuesdays on 702. Brought to you by Standard Bank Business and Commercial, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Thank you so much for the grace, the compassion, and for tuning in. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
President Cyril Ramaphosa hits back at the USA over G20 summit, and Brown Mokgotsi denies meddling in police affairs. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. President Cyril Ramaphosa has taken several jabs at the United States government today, saying nations of the world should